Hello again everyone, Bear from Bear Reads Books. Today I'm here to do the 2 books 1 stone tag. Is that right? 2 books 1 stone tag, originally created by Shawn the Book Maniac, so thank you once again Shawn, one of the hardest working booktubers out there, and a great set of 10 questions. So here we go. I do have to put my glasses on every single time, and for this one I'm going to be referring to Goodreads over and over and over again. This is great. So, the second last book I read. Consult the internet. My books. Read. The second last book I read was... I haven't mentioned this one before. The second last book I read was Idaho by Emily Ruskovich. Not one of my favourite books. I was really hoping to love this book, and I think I loved the art of it, so the quality of it. But I just wished this mystery, I just wish this mystery had have been revealed in a more story-like way. It was revealed so slowly and in so many pieces. It was just difficult to keep track of, and by the end of the book I just felt like I still didn't know what the hell was going on. But I loved the quality of the writing. I ended up listening to it on audiobook, and I think that had something to do with the problem I had with it. The narrator wasn't great. It was a really awful American accent that I think she was trying to put on, or trying to put on a particular regional accent, and it didn't work. But I appreciated how beautiful the writing was. I just thought the story was a bit of a jumble and really confusing, and I think I gave it 3 stars. We're up to question 2, the second book from the top of my TBR. Now, do you mean the book that I'm going to read 2 books from now, or the second oldest? I'm going to say the second oldest because there was something about that I wanted to talk to you about. Where was it on Goodreads? Give me 1 second, everybody. Books. Want to read. The second oldest book on my TBR is Slaughterhouse 5 by Vonnegut. And after a few videos from Greg at Supposedly Fun, I'm going to bump this thing to the very top. So once I finish my October TBR, sorry for the glasses, once I finish my October TBR, I'm going to bump Slaughterhouse 5. I've got Vonnegut in my house, not the actual Vonnegut, but Vonnegut's books in my house, and I've never read them, including Slaughterhouse 5. So Slaughterhouse 5 is going to the second top of my TBR, currently the second bottom, and as soon as October, this list of October reads is finished, I'm going to tackle Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse 5. Thank you, Greg. Question 3. 2 2-star reads. I'm going to join this one with number 5, 2 bails, or 2 books you'd wished you'd bailed on, or 2 books you hated, because I don't give 2-star reads very often, and I don't bail on books very often either. There are lots of books I hate, but even when I finish them, I end up giving them 2 or 3 stars, simply for how well they're written. I don't generally, I tend to see the beauty in most things. There you go, isn't that nice? But 2 2-star reads, or books that I hated, maybe you might disagree, or might have some people disagreeing with me here, but my very first one is The English Patient by Michael Ondatje. I read it a long time ago, really when it first came out. Thought it was just the most boring, dismal book I've ever read, and then watched the movie and felt exactly the same way. I hated it, every second of The English Patient. And then I came back to Warlight, his new novel, released 2017 or 2018, and kind of liked it. Not much happens, like it's just a bit light on plot, but it's still a nice book. I think I gave Warlight 3 stars, but The English Patient, after all these years, I just can't do it. My other 2-star read or book that I hate was Melville's Moby Dick, and I'm going to get a lot of hate about this one, but I was barracking for the death of one or both of the main characters, being the captain or the whale, from about halfway through the book. And for the second half of the book, I think I spent shouting at the book to do something, to get on with it, to kill it, either the whale or Captain Ahab. I really did hate it, and I just found it overly complex for what it was, and I found it not even beautiful in its delivery or in its writing. So a big disappointment. I may try again. I know there's a lot of love out there for Moby Dick. I may try again in the future, but for now it's a 2-star. I didn't bail on it. There's very, very few books I bail on. Number four. Two great books by the same author. I'll try and talk about an author that I haven't mentioned here before. And where is he? Back to Goodreads. Sorry, folks. I've read everything by this author. He is just amazing. His name is, come on, internet. Come on, internet. There he is. Kevin Powers is his name. He's written a collection of poetry and 2 novels. I've read all 3 of those. He's done story submissions for different story collections, but really of his own work, we're looking at, I'll just grab his list of works, we're looking at the a letter composed during a lull in the fighting, which is his collection of poems, and then 2 novels, one called The Yellow Birds and the other called A Shout in the Ruins. Not hugely well rated on Goodreads, like in the mid-3s, but for what they are, I thoroughly enjoyed them. Kevin Powers is an ex-American serviceman who served in Iraq and Afghanistan, one or both. I can't remember. And then when he returned, he decided to do a creative writing course and a literature course, and then ended up writing these books. I think some of them he may have started writing even while he was on deployment overseas. I'm not sure of the full story, but he's got a great story himself. And then I guess these books are his way of working through personally what happened to him on deployment, and they're marvels. They're really, really quite amazing books. All 3. I know it says 2, not quite a multiple, but let's pick any 2 of Kevin Powers' books and you will be satisfied. They're very, very good. Number 5, we've already dealt with 2 bails or 2 books you wish you'd bailed on. I wish I had bailed on The English Patient, and I wish I had bailed on Moby Dick. But I felt bad. I do feel bad bailing on books. I don't generally do it. The last book I bailed on was the Illuminae Files series by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I read the first one and thought it was interesting in the way that they were trying to lay it out, and kind of like Daisy Jones and the Six, what attracted me to the book, which was this interesting layout and format. By the middle of book 2 of the series, that's what drove me away. That's what made me hate it. So I did not finish book 2. So now I have all 3, but I probably will never get back to them. But they are lauded around the world in YA fiction land as great examples of fiction. Just not for me. Number 6, 2 favourite reads so far this year, and I am going to go back to BookTube for this one. I'm going to go back to BookTube for this one, not to BookTube. I'm going to go back to Goodreads for this one. Read so far this year, pardon the glasses again. Let me see. Some great reads for this year. 2 favourite reads so far this year. I'm going to say There by Tommy Orange. Only read a month ago. It was a marvel for me, a real eye-opener, and just something I'm still thinking about. and can't stop thinking about. There by Tommy Orange. Let me find one from earlier in the year that really blew me away. I've talked so much about these Australian mystery writers and their resurgence. There's so many examples of those because they're so good. Wow, my first book of the year was not even... My first book that I read this year was Lenny's Book of Everything. And I'm going to click on it and read the summary for you. Lenny's Book of Everything I read right at the beginning of January. It's still one of the best books. It doesn't even fit into YA fiction. It fits into young readers fiction. So it's marketed as middle years fiction. And I picked it up because there was so many great things being said about it, and some of the themes of this book, no way, middle years fiction, and the way it's written is so beautiful that you just think anyone could get something out of this book. And I did, and it still resonates with me 10 months later. Lenny's Book of Everything by Karen Foxlee. Let me just read the summary. I knew my brother. I knew when he talked too much about Timothy, his imaginary pet eagle. He was scared. Whatever you do, I said to Davy on the walk to school, do not tell people about your eagle. Do not tell Miss Schweitzer about your eagle. He looked crestfallen. His shoulders slumped. He looked to make sure Timothy hadn't fallen off. Lenny, small and sharp, has a younger brother Davy who won't stop growing, and at 7 is as tall as a man. Raised by their single mother who works 2 jobs and is made almost entirely out of worries, they have food and a roof over their heads, but not much else. It really is a touching read. I think in the comments back in January I said I knew this was going to be sad. Every reviewer told me it was going to be sad. And then when I got sad after reading this, I was so touched by this book, and I couldn't believe the emotional response I had to this book. And it still resonates with me 10 months later. I urge you to read Karen Foxlee's Lenny's Book of Everything. It really is a marvel, and something I'd forgotten about until this moment. Thank you, BookTube. Thank you, Goodreads, for reminding me. Number 7. 2 new favourite booktubers. Now, do you mean new booktubers, because I'm a new booktuber, or do you mean 2 booktubers that I've found recently new for me? Or are they people new to booktube? I don't know. Let me just go to people that I have found recently. So, people that I have found recently that I've found hugely entertaining, and I think they've been around on BookTube. The people I find entertaining on BookTube are that are trying to do something funny or interesting and different. That's not necessarily new people to BookTube. I'm looking, because I am a new person to BookTube, I'm looking for people on BookTube that can help me learn more about BookTube and influence me. And 2 of those that I've found in the last little while is a woman in the United States called Books and Lala, who has lots of videos, been on BookTube for a long time, but she is hysterically funny. She's so funny. And some of the books she reads, I will never read. It's just different likes and dislikes. She does read a lot, very broadly, like myself. But last week, her TBR, she created her TBR last week by following Instagram influencers. Not Bookstagram, but Instagram influencers, and the types of books that she had to read based on looking at Instagram influencers, Instagram accounts, were books on fashion, books on applying makeup, books on improving your life, books on how to spend your time more productively. You know, it was just hysterical, the types of things. And then she changed her fashion then she changed the way she looked to mimic how these Instagram influencers were dressing and doing their makeup. It was amazingly funny. Books and Lala. The other booktuber I'm really enjoying at the moment is, give me one sec. The other booktuber I'm really enjoying that I found this week was called My Reading Days, and I didn't know it when I clicked on it and then started looking at her videos, and she lives in the same town. So in this regional city of, we are 100,000 plus, but she lives here. So I see pictures of my library and I see pictures of the shops, and so I'm not going to tell you the town. I won't reveal the I won't give away the town just in case she has a problem with that. But My Reading Days, it's a great, and again, funny, and it's mostly reading vlogs, so her just getting around in life and where she ends up finding the time to read or interact with her kids or go and do the shopping and all of that sort of stuff. And I haven't done a proper reading vlog yet, like out and about, bare out and about reading. I haven't done that yet. I think for the various read-a-thons of October, that will be the way I'm going to have to record a lot of the stuff that's going on. So I just loved the way she was doing, and again, hysterically funny. So My Reading Days, number 1, and Books and Lala, number 2. Brilliant, both of them. Thank you both. I'll tag them both down below. Question 8, a book I've read twice. I've read lots of books twice. Sometimes I go back to books because I remember them fondly. Other times because I don't remember reading it at all, so I read it again. But the one I wanted to talk about was Catcher in the Rye. And like most people, I read it as a teenager. For me, probably late teens, 17, 18, I think I read Catcher in the Rye for the first time. Catcher in the Rye by J D Salinger, if you didn't know. And like most teenagers, I think I was deeply affected by the book. That finally someone thinks the way I'm thinking. Finally someone is angry at the things I am angry about. And that's, as a teenager, that's the way I felt about it. And then I reread it about, I'm going to say, 2 years ago, and thought it was dribble. I really disliked it. Maybe it's me getting older and just old man bear. All those young whippersnappers, all those young whippersnappers, and their funny ideas about how the world works. I don't know whether it's me getting old or not, but I thought that I would be progressive enough to remember my youth, to remember what was important about Catcher in the Rye. But when I reread it 2 years ago, I couldn't remember. I was astounded that I found Catcher in the Rye life-changing back when I was a teenager, because I didn't find it at all life-changing when I read it as a 40-something-year-old man. That's a bit sad, I think. I may need to give it a third go. Damn it. 2 fabulous quotes from books I've read recently. I did a Sunday sentence recently from Sula, Toni Morrison. That's probably one of the best quotes. I don't have it on me right now. But generally I don't remember quotes from books. And the things that really get me from books is imagery. And so much so that I actually record these on my phone. So as I'm reading, I will take like little notes on my phone. I've got them here in this little notes app. Little notes on my phone about images that I read about or hear, and they can form the basis of something I write myself, but they capture my imagination so much that I feel the need to record them. And recently the ones, and I'll give you some of this imagery here, one of them was the collective noun for finches, which amazingly is a clot of finches. I just think the imagery of a clot of finches is quite spectacular. I want to draw it, even though I can't draw, but I want to see a clot of finches. Clot. Considering how jittery they are, little finches, a clot doesn't quite make sense, but nonetheless. The other one I have is, this one came from Milkman, Anna Burns's Man Booker Prize book, which I didn't particularly enjoy. I think for me it was a 3-star read. Again, I found it very convoluted and difficult. But there was an image in there where talking about people shouting at each other or saying bad things about other people, and the way in which she described that was with speaking with embers in their mouths. So all of the troubles in Ireland were people speaking with embers in their mouths. It's quite an amazing image. So there's two recent ones, speaking with embers in their mouths. And probably the other one that I've had, I don't even remember where it came from, is the image of eyes like rain. And if anyone can remember, I know it comes from a Bruce Springsteen song, but I think Bruce Springsteen got it from a book that I have read, and I can't for the life of me remember what book that is. So the image is eyes like rain, describing someone's eyes like rain. If you can remember what book that is, I would love to hear from you. So that was two fabulous quotes. And finally, tag a number of booktubers, and I will do that. I've grown my booktube subscription numbers by quite a while recently, as I find some great new booktubers out there. So I will tag a bunch of people down below. Please do this tag. It is a great fun tag. I can't believe how fun that was. And talking about books and authors that I haven't talked about in any other videos. So that was great. Thank you so much for recommending that, Shawn, I do believe, or Shawn again. The 2 books, 1 stone tag. If you haven't done it before, please do. That was so much fun. Enjoy your day, everyone. Get out and about, get out in the sunshine, read your books, have a sensational time, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.